Good evening, everyone. So, welcome to the part 3 of effective online teaching. Reason for this video is that some of you have asked a couple of questions on exams, how it should be set in the Blackboard. So, this is again about the Blackboard, and I'm going to talk about how to set an exam in this environment, in this Blackboard environment, and how to have a test created for students that can be taken for a stipulated period of time and given the choice to take the exam any point of time during like 48 hours or 72 hours. There are several of the options in the Blackboard to create that. So there are options to create tests and also the create assignments. So there is a misconception between tests and assignments, that assignment can be set for a longer period of time. You can have a due date, but you cannot have a stipulated time in assignment. You cannot have the exam set that the student will take between like 60 minutes or 2 hours exam in a very short period of time, and you will create that test using assignment tool. It is not possible. Also in the test when you create the test, it has to be created in the Blackboard by manually putting the questions into it, and then link that test in your exam or the test window. So I'm going to show a couple of these features that Blackboard has, and that's how you can conveniently set your exam. Of course, there is in the beginning there is a learning curve, and also at the also there are lot of work involved in the beginning to set up the tests. But once you do it, and you get into this habit of using this Blackboard, I have been using since last 8 years, frankly speaking. So it was not that difficult to transition at this moment. But one thing is very important, that once you set all these questions and tests in the particular course, you can reuse them, jumble it, you can randomly assign to the students and so on and so forth. So this is in a long run, it is a time savers, I will say. But initially you have to invest a lot of time. But frankly speaking, it is very useful. I will go on to the desktop and we'll discuss couple of ways of setting the tests. And this video was created particularly from couple of requests that I received. I did not only received from the College of Engineering, but from other colleges and schools and other departments. That's thank you for asking and sending me emails on this request. So hopefully this video will be very helpful for you. Thank you, and let's go to the next. Okay, now we are on the desktop. Let's open the browser and go to mysc.edu. Usually I open this way, Blackboard, login. After logging in, let's go to the courses. Let's say I will set the exam for this particular course, which is this one. I choose this course because I just had that exam on last Friday, so I can give the example from there. Now, as I said before, that exam can be set in two modes. One is assignment, one is in test mode. So let's go to the course content here. In the course content, you will see in the assessment you have several of the ways that you can assess the student. So you can do the test, but if I click test, you have to have a test prepared beforehand. Then you can link through the test. Another way is to give the assignments here. And if you click the assignments, you can name the assignments, and you can browse the questions that you'd like to give in a PDF format or PPT file or in Word file that you want. You can give the due date and the point possibles, and you can have these assignments or the test available for 48 hours, 72 hours, depending on the display after and display until. So these are the menus that can help you to have the test created for a longer period of time, maybe 3 days, 4 days. This is good for having a take-home type of an exam, where students can be open book exam, it can be open note exam, they can watch the browser, they can go to internet, they can ask any friends and things like that. So this is more like a open exam where questions supposed to be more based on the critical thinking rather than information based. So this kind of settings is good for elaborate question, critical thinking based questions where student can interact with others to take the test. Here you cannot have a stipulated time like 2 hours or 3 hours exam. So I will go on to the test and talk about the test part. Now I just had an exam last week, which is this one, midterm exam, and which was like created from the test. I will go to that particular test and I will create a test from the fresh to demonstrate how it should be done. Let's go to the course tool here in this one. If you go to the course tool, you go to the test, surveys and pools. Here you can create pools of questions. You can create the surveys to have understanding of particular study, and then here in the test you can create the test from the scratch. Like this particular as I said in class midterm exam I had last week, I can give some examples from this one and then I will create a brand new test. Let's go to edit. So as you can see, I had total 18 questions, 65 points, and number of attempts, because they're based on the students, how many students they actually attempted. So here most of the questions was multiple choice of type of a questions, and this exam for 60 minutes only, and I gave the duration that can be between certain period of time. It can be within 2 days, anytime they can take the question. So even I have a computer code where they have to analyze this code and get the answer. So I have provided my all correct answers here, and I have randomized the answers. The randomization means the answer is a D, but the students when will take the exam, they will see that this answer can be moved to E, or for other student can be C, and if they are attempting more than once, it can be also jumbled up. It can be randomly placed. So these are multiple choice questions. I can have a true false question. I can have a mathematical equations that how it should be, whether the equation is correct or not, and so on and so forth. So there are a lot of possibilities. I can insert a picture to ask a particular diagram and question in tied to that. So let's go to the test, how to create the test. So in order to do that, I have to go downstairs here. Let's go to OK, and then let's build a test. So I'm going to create a new test. So let's say I'm going to create an example test. Description, let's say as we are all locked down at home, let's have some questions based on this COVID-19, so that this test is on COVID-19. Then you can give specific instruction how it should be done within this is a 30 minutes exam, should be taken anytime, during next 48 hours or something like this. So you can give the exams. So let's submit. So this exam is created, and there are no questions, there are no points, so you have to create the question. So there are a lot of options to create question. What are the different types? Now I will go one at a time. Most of the cases, the multiple choice questions and multiple answers are very relevant for short period of time exams, and this is good for all the different colleges also, maybe business, biology, science departments, and all the other nursing schools, law. So multiple choice questions can be relevant, or even in engineering, multiple choice questions and multiple answers are always relevant to every across the board, every departments, every colleges. But there are certain things that we require as an engineering department. I will go into the options in a minute. Let's go to the multiple choice question. Let's create a question number 1. Here I say that the question is how many people are infected by COVID in US. So my questions will be answered in ABC. I can keep a Roman number, uppercase number, whatever it is. So I keep it ABC, smaller, and they can be shown vertically or horizontally. Right now let's keep it vertical. I do not allow any partial credit, and show the answer in random order. Please click that one. That will showing up the answers in a random order every attempt, or it will be random for different students. Then the answer is 100,000. Next is let's say 135,000. Next answer is 50,000. Next answer is 25,000. Let's say the answer, the second answer, which is 135,000, although it's a backdated number, but answer 2 is my correct answer. Let's say if I do that and then submit, so this question is created and this is my correct answer. That will be shown, that will be a student can see and then click the answer. Whether it will be correct or not, it will be automatically checked by the software and give you the grade. So in order to assign the points, let's go here and assign the points, let's say 4 for this particular question. Next, true false question. Let's go to the true false type of a question. Here this is my question number 2. I said during the lockdown one is allowed to party outside. So this is a false statement. As alignment is vertical, correct answer is false. Submit. So this way you can create multiple questions. It takes 30 seconds to 45 seconds for each questions. If you are already ready somewhere, you already have the questions written down somewhere, it has to be translated here in the Blackboard. It is time consuming, I agree, but it is worth doing it. Next is let's say this particular question, this is very relevant for, let's say, for engineering. Calculated formula. Here in this particular question I will not ask for any COVID type of problem, but I will give an engineering example. Let's say I am asking normal stress, or calculate the normal stress. Calculate normal stress when some values are given. What are the values we need to calculate normal stress in a beam? Let's say when moment is, put it in the third bracket, moment m, distance from neutral axis is y, and moment of inertia, let's say I. So these are my parameters where I can assign some values. Now I have to write the formula to find the normal stress in the beam. So I have to write the formula here. Let's say this is my formula bar, m y and divided by I. Now if you ask the students to derive an equation, they can derive the equation and find a particular pattern, and you already know what they should find, and you want to test them whether they have derived it correctly, or they have done the derivation correctly, or they know the formula beforehand correctly or not. In order to test that, you can provide certain numbers for m, y and I and plug into them. So let's give the range of this. Now let's provide the answers. If you want to have an allowance in the answers, let's say 0.1, that the plus minus 0.1 answers are allowed. Let's go to next. Here I have to provide a minimum value. Let's say provide 1.25. I'm just giving some arbitrary number, and maximum value is 2.5. M value is like 25 kilonewton meter to 45 kilonewton meter. Y might be 25 millimeter. So those units are also important. You know that what unit you need to have and how the values should be calculated. So like decimal points, I will use 2 decimal points increments here. Okay, now calculate the answer to 2 decimal points, and now number of answer set. Now you want to create, you want to give these input values between this range, and it will create, let's say, 20 set of problems, and those 20 sets of problems can be assigned randomly to the students. So if they found the formula correctly, they can plug into that formula and get the number. Those numbers are already calculated here. Correct answer format is normal. Okay, let's go to next. Then here you can see all these 20 set of numbers are created based on I, M and Y, and these are the calculated answer between 0.1 error, plus minus error, if they have done some error in their calculation. So these answers are already now found in the Blackboard. So what you can do, these answers will be, these questions will be given to the students in a random order. Let's submit. Once I submit that, this question is created where it is saying that this formula will not be shown to the students. You ask a normal stress, or you can ask that to derive the formula for the normal stress, or to derive the formula for such and such. When the formulas are obtained by the students, and that will you can ask them to put the values, and these values will be given. When these values are here, it is not shown, but student will see a specific number in this M. Student will see a specific number for Y and specific number for I, and those are taken from those pot of values that you just assigned, and the correct answer will be for that specific row of numbers that you have seen. So if they have correctly found the formula, then they can correctly find the numbers. So that way you can also test whether they have derived correctly or they know the particular formula. So this is the using the calculated formula bar. There are other options like go to essays. So very important part is essay for our kind of test, where you can ask a question to derive certain equations or derive certain formulas, and you can mark them in a step-by-step basis intermittently. Then student has to provide the answer here. Not only they can put the answers, they can actually do the work on their paper, and they can attach the picture or figures here, or they can type a particular formula using this math bar. So there are a lot of options to do if you assign, let's say, derive this particular formula and so forth. And if you submit, then that will be the question. So let's say I'm asking question, derive the thermodynamic equations, first and second law, and such, just to give some example. Or you can ask something else. So if they have to derive, assuming all the parameters, all the values, you can specify that what parameters and values they should assume, like Cp, Cv, R, capital T, capital P, for the pressure, for pressure, temperature constants and things like that, or volume V. So you can specify the nomenclature, and they can use those nomenclature to write that one. But these questions, essay type of questions, cannot be graded by the Blackboard directly. So because this depends on the instructor to how much points should be given. So this has to be graded by the instructor. Let me see if any other type of questions are there. Multiple answers, basically it is exactly same as multiple choice, where you have multiple answers instead of having one choice. Either or is exactly same as the true false. Fill in the blanks, you can create a fill in the blanks exam, where you can say that this, let's say question number 4, question number 5. Don't remember what exactly I did last time. Currently we have more than certain, this is the fill in the blanks, okay, more than number of cases in SC. So the answer is more than 1000. So the number of answer is 1. Do you want an exact match or do you want contents? That means if they write so many lines in here but it contains 1000, it is accepted, or so on and so forth. So also a pattern match, it could be done that you can provide an answer, it can be a pattern match that will be also automatically checked by the software. Now you submit. So this is also a question. Now let's say these are my questions and these are points are given, and you can change the points for any particular question you want. That way my test has 5 questions and total 38 points I have. So I have created my question. If I want to reuse the question, I can go to my pool and get my question. You can also upload your question, but uploading the questions will require a format specifically created in a particular pattern. Also you can, while creating a question in a multiple choice questions, you can also, let me go to the multiple choice question, one of them. Here there is an option to get a picture. So if you want to if your question has relevance to a picture attached to it, then you can upload the picture from your browser. I can, let's say, browse my computer from there is a specific picture I downloaded in my desktop. Let me see if I have it. Yes, so let's say this is the graph I want to insert, and so this graph is showing the profile growth of the coronavirus cases and right now, and based on this curve you want to ask some questions or give some correct answers or wrong answers, or and you ask the questions based on this. So this is also possible to insert figures and images, and that will be relevant to the particular question. So I will just cancel this one, I will not create right now. So this way you can create the test. Now once it is done, then you hit OK, and your course is created. Now this course is not deployed yet, right? This course, this exam was so not the course, the exam. So this exam was already taken. Example test that I just created is not deployed yet, it just created. So what you have to do, we have to go to the two-step process. So for in order to do that, we have to go to the course content, then go to assessment and go to the test. Once you go to the test, you will see the test you just have created is popping up here. So example test has not been assigned yet, but now it is going to be assigned. Let's submit. Then it will ask a lot of questions. So what it is asking is that show the descriptions to the student or not. Yes, I want to show the description. Show the instruction to the student. Yes, I want to show that. Make available to the students. Yes. Add a new announcement for the test. Yes. Multiple attempts, whether you want to have a multiple attempts, like student can take this exam 2 times, 3 times, or just 1 time. If you want them to do the test only 1 time, then don't click it here. If you want to do the test for 2 times, then you say I want them to do 2 times, and I will take the highest grade out of these 2 attempts. If you don't want to do that, you do not have to click it. Force completion, this is I usually do. The reason is they will take a 30 minutes time to do this exam, and immediately after 30 minutes it will be submitted. So whatever they are working on, it will be taken till the 10 of 30 minutes. Set timer, that's what I was 30 minutes I was talking about. Let's say I have the 30 minutes exam. Auto submit is on, that means it will be automatically submitted and it will ask for force completion. Display after, so I would like to have this test to be taken 2nd of April from 12 noon. Let's go to 12 noon, and I will allow them display until, I will allow them for 48 hours, which is 4th of April and to noon again. So during this 48-hour period of time, their test is only for 30 minutes. They can take any time they want, and they can do 2 attempts, and highest 2 attempts will be graded. So this is how it is created. Now if you want to create the password, you can create the password to do the test also. Due date is basically the 4th of April. This is the final date of my due dates of this exam. So put that 4th of April, and put this noon again. Whatever the display until is your due date. Again, this is also important. Do not allow the student to start the test if the due dates has passed. Yeah, of course, because they have to take the exam between that 48 hours period of time. And here the show the test results and feedback to the students. Yes, after the submission, you have a choice to show them the answers. Now, as in this format, we are doing the exam for 48 hours, and anyone can take within the 30 minutes period of time. So one student can take the exam on the first day, and he has all the options to tell all the answers to their friends in next 24 hours. So in order to prevent that, what you can do, instead of showing the results right away, you can show them after the due date, or after the end date, after the availability end date, or you can show them immediately if your test is if you do not think that transmission, that means telling the right answer to the students will help or not. Depending on that, you can check, but I will keep that after availability of the end date. All the answers should be shown, correct answers and submitted answers, and will give the feedback and show the incorrect answers that student has given. With this, I will submit this exam. That means my exam is now created, and it is the example test is here. Next, I will do another step. Like during the exam, I don't want my students to go to browser, go to the any other software to play around and look for the answers and write it. So in order to prevent that, you have to go to the course tools. In that course tools, you can go to Respondous LockDown Browser. Let's go here, and you can see here I have a example test which says lockdown browser not required. But let's go to the settings, and I enforce that I require my lockdown browser. That means when student is started doing the exam, nothing they can access. Password, so let's say keep the password COVID, so that, and you can provide that term to the students, and then this password to the students, and they can enter and they can start doing the exam. Now you can also monitor the students when they are doing the exams. So if they have the webcam, you can enforce that by watching their webcam recording of that 30 minutes, you can review whether they are cheating or not. So that is also possible. Don't require responders monitor, require the respond monitors. So if I click the required responders monitor to for the exam, it will ask for it will demonstrate what they can do, and you say okay, continue to the Respondous LockDown Browser, and it will ask what you want. Let's say you want a student photo ID to show, you want the student's ID to show, student photo itself, environment check. That means you have to turn on the camera, they have to show the surroundings of their exam. They do not have any copies or any kind of materials or books lying around, so you can see the environments, and then you can allow them to start. So through that webcam you can control, or you can proctor this exam. Basically this is the method of doing it. It is relevant for small classes, for 10 to 12 students, but for large classes I think it is very hard to do, but these are the options we have. So I will say that, like, save and close. Then this exam is all set with Respondous LockDown Browser, where students can take the exam, and as it says, it's required. Now exam will start tomorrow, and anyone can take this exam with providing the password. The students can take the exam within of this course in next 48 hours, and this will be exam for only 30 minutes. So my students will be really surprised why this exam popping up right now, because I use the actual course. But that's fine. I will just cancel it, and I will let them know. But now as these are the things are the most important part. As you can see, if you go to the home page and the course content, you will see this exam is already created, and they can start the exam, and the Respondous LockDown Browser will prevent them from doing any kind of cheating, or the academic integrity will be automatically protected. So these are I hope these are the useful informations, and if you have any questions, please send me an email. The email is written on the side, and thank you for watching.